Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to another episode of China Update, where I provide you with the most up-to-date political, economic, and geostrategic analysis on the world's #2 economy. My name is Tony. Let's jump in. Now, today's episode is for a hardcore audience, those who like to wade into macroeconomics. On Friday, we discussed an article about a high-profile expert, Huang Yiping, critical of current government policy, laying out what he sees as the main issues for China's economy and the path forward. Huang was a member of the China 50 Economics Forum, director of the National School of Development at Peking University, and a member of the Monetary Policy Committee of the People's Bank of China. Huang Yiping's main research areas include macroeconomics, financial policy, and digital finance. In the 415th session of the Chang'an Forum, Huang was invited to give a speech, and his topic was a macroeconomic policy framework with Chinese characteristics. The speech, which was in Chinese, has been widely shared online. Tellingly, he was very blunt in some of his observations, a rarity in Xi Jinping's China, even for well-respected top economists. Finance expert Michael Pettis, who we quote often on China Update, calls Huang, quote, one of the best and most influential economists in China. End quote. I read a written version of the speech and thought it was worth examining on the channel, but in a special Sunday episode for the core China Update audience, rather than in a regular weekday episode which covers developments. The speech is very long and it took several hours to translate it. I've decided to write my own summary of Huang's work, though I prefer to quote individuals directly so they can unpack their ideas in their own words. To do so here would mean an hour-long video. So for the sake of brevity, today we will explore his speech through a summary by yours truly. I will try to use his own language as much as possible. Now, I'm a huge nerd for this sort of stuff. That's why I spend half of my weekend translating and writing about Chinese macroeconomic policy from a Chinese economist for a video that I'm sure very few people will watch. I know this isn't for everybody, so it's just a warning. Some of this may be a little dry and some people might not be interested in it. For those who just want a daily news update, maybe give this video a skip and we'll be back with regular episodes tomorrow. For everyone else, let's get our teeth into the speech. And remember, this is my written summary of Huang's views, not a direct quote. If you enjoyed today's episode of China Update, don't forget to hit the like button. As you can see, I'm filming this on location, so it's a little bit different. I will move over to audio shortly. And if you have not subscribed already, about 40% of regular viewers are not subscribed. It's also a big help if you can hit subscribe too. It'd be great if we could reach 74,000 subscribers this weekend. With all that said, let's jump in. China's macroeconomic policy framework is notable for its use of diverse and sometimes non-market-based tools. Unlike many market economies where central banks primarily use short-term policy interest rates, China employs a broader array of instruments, including policy interest rates, quantity tools, and administrative measures like window guidance. This diversity arises from China's transitional economic status, where market mechanisms are not yet fully developed, necessitating varied tools to achieve policy objectives. Another distinguishing feature is the clear division of roles between fiscal and monetary authorities. In China, both the Ministry of Finance and the People's Bank of China are integral parts of the government, which ideally should facilitate policy coordination. However, in practice, this sometimes leads to departmental standoffs, with each advocating different policy stances to preserve future policy space. Local governments also play a significant amplifying role in China's macroeconomic regulation. Historically, central government policies have been vigorously implemented at the local level, often with local governments leveraging additional resources to expand policy impacts significantly. This central decision, local action dynamic has both accelerated economic activities during expansions and compounded challenges during contractions. China's macroeconomic policy system has evolved significantly since the late 20th century, particularly post-1978 with various fiscal reforms. Initially, the system relied heavily on direct control and quantity-based tools. Over time, there has been a gradual shift towards indirect regulation and price-based instruments, reflecting broader market-oriented reforms. Keynesian economics has traditionally influenced China's fiscal policies, emphasizing emphasizing government intervention to stabilize economic cycles. During downturns, expansionary fiscal policies are deployed to boost aggregate demand. Conversely, contractionary policies are used to cool down overheating economies. The global financial crisis of 2008 and the COVID-19 pandemic saw many countries, including China, adopting aggressive fiscal and monetary policies, sometimes beyond established norms, to stabilize their economies. However, China's approach remains distinct in its simultaneous use of both price and non-price tools and the significant role of local governments. These unique features reflect China's ongoing transition from a centrally planned to a more market-oriented economy, requiring a hybrid policy framework tailored to its specific economic conditions. Despite the traditionally robust and decisive nature of China's macroeconomic policies, recent years have presented new challenges. The post-pandemic economic recovery has been sluggish, with weak aggregate demand being a significant concern. Several factors contribute to this scenario. 1. Balance sheet contraction. The COVID-19 pandemic strained household and enterprise balance sheets. Unlike Western economies that provided direct cash subsidies, China's approach left many households and businesses with depleted savings and increased liabilities, constraining their spending and investment capabilities. 2. Diminished local government role. Fiscal constraints and stricter market discipline have limited local government's ability to amplify central policies. Previously, local governments significantly boosted central initiatives through additional spending and resources. Now, their fiscal woes have curtailed this amplifying effect, weakening overall policy impact. 3. Overly conservative policy stance. Historical experiences with stimulus-induced side effects, such as high leverage and asset bubbles, have made policymakers cautious. This caution has translated into relatively mild policy responses, insufficient to drive a robust economic recovery. 4. Structural and sectoral adjustments. Regulatory tightening in key sectors like real estate, finance, and education has had contractionary macroeconomic effects. These adjustments, while aimed at long-term stability, have dampened short-term economic activity. Given these challenges, Huang suggests several strategic adjustments to enhance the effectiveness of China's macroeconomic policies. 1. Guiding market expectations. Effective macroeconomic policy should not only address aggregate demand, but also shape market expectations. Significant policy measures, coupled with clear and positive narratives, can boost confidence and prompt market participants to adjust their behavior, amplifying policy impacts. 2. Central government responsibility. With local governments less able to pay their traditional amplifying role, the central government and central bank need to assume greater responsibility for macroeconomic regulation. This includes substantial fiscal spending and monetary easing to directly stimulate economic activities. 3. Balancing cross-cycle and counter-cyclical policies. While cross-cycle regulations aimed at smoothing long-term economic fluctuations, immediate counter-cyclical measures are critical for addressing current economic weaknesses. Policymakers should prioritize short-term stabilization while preparing for long-term adjustments. 4. Coordinated policy approach. Enhanced coordination between fiscal, monetary, and sectoral policies is essential. Unified leadership and coherent policy actions can ensure different policies complement rather than counteract each other, improving overall effectiveness. Huang proposes several short-term measures to address immediate economic challenges. 1. Prioritizing inflation control. Elevating the importance of mild inflation, 2 to 3% alongside growth targets, can prevent deflationary pressures and support economic stability. This requires treating CPI growth as a rigid policy target. 2. Stimulating consumption. Shifting the policy focus from investment-heavy to consumption-supportive measures is crucial. This includes direct fiscal interventions like cash transfers to households and measures to boost consumer spending. 3. Leveraging sovereign credit. Utilizing central government credit to mitigate balance sheet risks and stabilize economic activity is vital. By assuming certain liabilities, the central government can help restore confidence and promote economic recovery. In conclusion, Huang argues that China's macroeconomic policy framework, with its unique characteristics and historical evolution, faces new challenges in the post-pandemic era. Balancing short-term counter-cyclical measures with long-term structural adjustments, guiding market expectations, and enhancing policy coordination are crucial crucial for addressing these challenges. By adopting these strategic adjustments and focusing on imminent policy measures, China can navigate the current economic landscape and achieve sustainable growth and stability. Okay, that is today's episode of China Update. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching. Have a good Sunday, and I will see you back for regular episodes tomorrow.